What if I told you that the most financially devastating decision you can make in your 60s has nothing to do with the stock market, Medicare choices, or even Social Security timing? Last month, researchers at a major university analyzed the retirement outcomes of over 9,000 Americans who helped their adult children buy homes. Here is what shocked the financial planning community. Parents who contributed more than 20% of their liquid assets to an adult child's home purchase were 4 times more likely to run out of money before age 80. 4 times. And here is the part that should make you angry. The financial services industry rarely talks about this because the cultural pressure to help your kids is so intense. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why this gift becomes a retirement destroyer and what to do instead. Let me tell you about Thomas and Linda. They are a couple from North Carolina, both 64 years old. Back in 2019, they made a decision that felt like pure love. Their daughter, Sarah, was struggling to buy her first home in a competitive market. Thomas and Linda liquidated $180,000 from their retirement accounts, 38% of everything they had saved. They felt proud, generous, relieved that Sarah would not have to struggle the way they did. It felt like the right thing to do. They believed they still had enough left in their 401k and pension to be comfortable. Fast forward to today. Thomas had a stroke last year. They are now facing a $4,200 monthly shortfall between medical expenses and their fixed income. The money they gave Sarah, they can never get it back. And Sarah is struggling herself with her own mortgage and daycare costs. Thomas and Linda are not alone, and they are not bad parents. They are victims of a financial narrative that celebrates generational wealth transfer without ever mentioning the math that makes it impossible for most middle-class retirees. So what is really happening across America? Researchers at a retirement security institute tracked 9,400 households where parents aged 55 to 70 contributed to adult children's home purchases. They followed these families for 10 years. Parents who contributed more than 20% of their liquid assets were 4.2 times more likely to experience retirement insecurity by age 80. 4 times. The median contribution was $127,000. Here is the gap between perception and reality. 72% of contributing parents believed they could make it back through continued savings, but only 11% successfully rebuilt their retirement cushion to pre-gift levels. 11%. The financial impact typically does not surface until 5 to 8 years after the gift, when healthcare costs spike and market downturns hit. And the compounding loss? A $150,000 gift at age 62 represents approximately $520,000 in lost retirement security by age 82. So why do smart, financially responsible people make this mistake? Because there are 3 massive myths that the financial services industry and our culture keep reinforcing. Here is what nobody tells you. Myth number 1. Helping your kids is always the right thing to do. Wrong. Helping your kids when you cannot afford it creates a multi-generational financial crisis. You become the burden you were trying to prevent them from having. Myth number 2. You can rebuild your retirement savings after making the gift. After age 60, you have lost the most powerful wealth-building tool you ever had. Time. Compound interest works in reverse now. You are not building anymore. You are depleting. The math does not work. Myth number 3. Your kids will help you if you run into trouble later. Your adult children will likely be in their peak expense years precisely when you need help most. Mortgages, childcare, student loans, career building. They will want to help you, but they will not be able to. And now you have transferred your crisis to them. Financial advisors and real estate agents profit when these transfers happen. They rarely sound the alarm. Protecting your own retirement is not selfish. It is the most loving thing you can do for your children long term. The truth is, there are 5 specific financial catastrophes that unfold when you buy your adult child a house, and I am going to walk you through every single one, from the least obvious to the most devastating. Here is what we are going to do. I am walking you through all 5 financial catastrophes in countdown order, number 5 to number 1, And I'm telling you right now, number one involves a problem that most parents discover only after it is too late to fix. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. For each catastrophe, we are covering three things: what it is, why does the financial industry not warn you about it, and whether any safe alternatives actually protect both generations. But before we dive into these 5 financial catastrophes, I need to hear from you. Drop your age in the comments below. No judgment here. And tell me honestly, have you helped or are you planning to help an adult child buy a home? Or are you the adult child wondering if you should accept this help? The more we talk about this openly, the more families we can protect from making irreversible mistakes. We read every comment, and your story might be exactly what another family needs to hear. Now, let me be clear. Some families genuinely can afford this without damaging retirement security. This video is for middle-class retirees who have worked hard and saved, but are not wealthy enough to absorb six-figure losses. My goal is not to make you feel guilty. My goal is to arm you with information that your financial advisor may not be providing. All right, let us start with number 5 and work our way up to the financial catastrophe that can silently destroy everything you built in just a few years. Number 5, the compound interest wipeout, or what economists call irreversible velocity loss. Here is what most people do not understand. You know about compound interest when you are young and building wealth, but you completely underestimate compound interest in reverse when you are spending down assets in retirement. When you withdraw $150,000 at age 62 to help your child, you are not just losing $150,000. You are losing every dollar that money would have generated for the next 20 to 30 years of your life. The opportunity cost is catastrophic. A financial planning research center modeled withdrawal scenarios. A $150,000 withdrawal at age 62 from a diversified portfolio with a conservative 6% average annual return represents $520,000 in lost wealth by age 82. The same withdrawal at age 67 represents $380,000 in lost wealth by age 82. Every year you are older when you make this gift, the compound loss shrinks slightly, but it is always multiples of the original amount. Here is why this is so devastating. After 60, you have 10 to 15 years maximum before you need to start living off your savings. You cannot make up large losses with aggressive investments because you cannot afford the risk. Social Security and pensions, if you have them, are fixed and do not grow with inflation at rates that compensate. The withdrawal creates a permanent hole in your compounding engine. Here is the crucial calculation most people skip. Before you write that check, multiply the gift amount by 3.5. That is the conservative estimate of what you are really giving up by age 80. A $100,000 gift? You are sacrificing $350,000 in retirement security. Ask yourself this: can I afford to lose that amount and still maintain my lifestyle and cover healthcare for 20 years? If your gift represents more than 15% of your total retirement assets, you are in the danger zone. Now, the compound interest loss is something you can at least calculate if you know how to look for it. Catastrophe number 4 is something almost nobody sees coming until tax season. Number 4, the gift tax and estate trap. Many parents do not realize that large financial gifts trigger federal gift tax reporting requirements and can reduce their lifetime estate tax exemption. Even if you do not owe taxes immediately, you are consuming exemption space that could have protected your estate. More importantly, if you need to access that money later through a home equity loan or informal family loan, there are tax consequences and complications most families never anticipate. Here is the data. In 2024, the annual gift tax exclusion is $18,000 per recipient per year. Anything above that counts against your lifetime estate and gift tax exemption, currently $13.61 million per individual. For middle-class families, this seems irrelevant, but financial advisors point out that legislation changes, exemptions can be reduced retroactively, and many states have their own estate tax thresholds as low as $1 million. So what are the complications? First, a $150,000 gift requires filing IRS Form 709. Second, if you later need money back and your child provides it, it can be classified as taxable income to you in some circumstances. Third, if the home is titled with you as a co-owner to protect the investment, it creates capital gains issues and Medicaid complications. Fourth, many parents structure this as a loan to avoid gift tax, but then never enforce repayment, creating IRS scrutiny. Here is the pro tip. If you are determined to help, work with an estate attorney and CPA before transferring money. The cheapest option is often a formal documented loan with a promissory note at the IRS applicable federal rate. This protects both generations legally and financially. But here is the key. If your child cannot actually afford to repay the loan, this is your warning sign that the entire transaction is too risky. If this is opening your eyes to things you have not considered, hit that like button and subscribe. We are going deep into the risks that financial institutions do not want to spotlight, and there are 3 more catastrophes we need to cover. Now we are moving from financial mechanics into something even more painful. Catastrophe number 3 destroys something you can never rebuild. Number 3, the relationship poison, also called toxic financial enmeshment. Here is the reality that research backs up. Large financial gifts between parents and adult children fundamentally alter the power dynamics and emotional health of the relationship. When you give a down payment or buy a house outright, you often unconsciously expect gratitude, influence, or a say in decisions. Your adult child feels guilt, obligation, and resentment. Both sides usually hide these feelings until a crisis forces them into the open. A family psychology study from a major research university tracked 1,800 families where significant financial transfers occurred. 67% of parent-child relationships experienced increased tension within 3 years of a large gift over $50,000. Common conflicts? Disagreements about how the child managed money afterward. Parental expectations about visits or grandparent access. Adult children feel controlled or monitored. Most striking? 34% of adult children reported that they wished they had not accepted the money in hindsight, even when it helped them achieve homeownership. So what dynamics emerge? First, you feel you have bought a stake in your child's decisions, and you unconsciously judge their financial choices. Second, your adult child feels they cannot set boundaries because mom and dad gave us this house. Third, siblings who did not receive equivalent gifts harbor resentment, creating long-term family fractures. Fourth, if your adult child's marriage fails, the financial gift becomes a weapon in divorce negotiations, and you get pulled into legal disputes. Fifth, if your child sells the home for a profit, you may feel entitled to recoup your investment, but there is rarely a legal mechanism to do so. Let me show you how this plays out. Karen and Bill from Oregon gave their son $200,000 for a home in 2018. 2 years later, their son and daughter-in-law decided to relocate for job opportunities and sold the house. They made $80,000 in profit and used it for their move and new life. Karen and Bill, now struggling financially, asked for some of the original gift back. Their son felt ambushed and betrayed. The relationship is still fractured 4 years later. Karen's other 2 children have distanced themselves, feeling their brother was favored. Here is the hard truth. If you give money, it must be an unconditional gift with 0 strings, 0 expectations, and 0 future claims. If you cannot emotionally afford to give it unconditionally, you cannot afford to give it at all. And most parents cannot truly give unconditionally when their own financial security is at stake. Relationship damage is painful, but at least it is emotional. Catastrophe number 2 creates a financial vulnerability that can land you in a facility you never wanted, spending your final years in a way you never imagined. Number 2, the Medicaid disqualification trap, or what elder law attorneys call the 5-year look-back penalty. Most middle-class Americans will need Medicaid to cover long-term care at some point. Medicaid has strict asset limits and a 5-year look-back period. If you made a large financial gift within 5 years of applying for Medicaid, you will be penalized with ineligibility. That gift to your child for a house? It can disqualify you from receiving the care you desperately need. Research from an elder law institute shows that 70% of Americans over 65 will need long-term care. The average nursing home cost is now $108,000 per year. Medicaid covers it, but only if you qualify. Any gift over $15,000 in the past 5 years creates a penalty period. A $150,000 gift could disqualify you for 16 to 18 months. Medicaid reviews all financial transactions for the 60 months before your application. Gifts to children count as disqualifying transfers. You cannot undo the gift to fix the problem. James in Pennsylvania gave his daughter $180,000 in 2020. In 2023, he had a severe stroke and needed nursing home care. The gift created a 20-month penalty period. The daughter could not give the money back. They sold James's home to pay for his care. If you think you might need long-term care in the next 10 years, speak with an elder law attorney before making any gift over $15,000. The 5-year look-back is unforgiving. And now we arrive at number 1. This is the catastrophe that combines all the others and adds one final element that makes the entire situation irreversible. Number 1. The irreversibility crisis. Once the money is transferred, you can almost never get it back. Unlike other financial mistakes, where you can course correct, this decision is permanent. If your health changes, if the market crashes, you cannot call the money back. Financial planning research found that when parents who made large gifts later faced financial emergencies, only 8% successfully received any portion back. Adult children were themselves financially stretched, or family dynamics made asking for money back emotionally impossible. Real estate is illiquid. Even if your child wanted to return the money, they would need to sell or refinance. Your child's own obligations mean they are living paycheck to paycheck, even with the house. Patricia in Texas gave her son $220,000 in 2017. In 2024, her husband died, and her income dropped 60%. Her son's house decreased in value, and he has 3 kids in school. There is no way to return the money. Patricia is moving into a 1-bedroom apartment. The greatest gift you can give your adult children is your own financial independence. Real generational wealth is maintaining your independence and leaving them an inheritance when you pass, not a crisis while you are still alive. If you want to help, consider alternatives. Co-sign a mortgage, but do not provide cash. Cover closing costs up to $15,000 to $20,000. Provide temporary housing while they save. All of these preserve your security. Which catastrophe hit you hardest? Are you a parent seeing the consequences or an adult child being pressured to accept money? Tell me in the comments. Share this video with someone considering this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.